Hi guys, so today we've got a couple of new tools to show you. So these are both from the guys over at Klein. So for those of you that haven't heard or seen any Klein before, which I'm sure you will have done, Klein are a American-based company that are well known and regarded in the electrical sector, so make a bunch of electrical-based tools and testing equipment. But obviously some of the tools are sort of a bit generic to other things as well. So we've got the 8-in-1 stubby screwdriver, and we've also got the very famous 6-in-1 flip socket set in the metric. So I'm sure plenty of you will have seen these before on socials and stuff, and maybe even got them yourself. So we'll take a look at the stubby screwdriver first. So what's quite cool about this one is if we pull back that collar there, the shaft itself comes out. So this is an impact rated shaft, so you can use it in your impact driver or your drill, which is pretty cool. Standard sort of shaft, if we can get hold of the bit there. So you just pop your bit in the end. It's got a little magnet in there, which is cool. So your bit's going to sit in there and not fall out, which is why it was a bit of a struggle to get it out. And then, like I said, pull your collar back, pop it in there, and it's nice and secure in there. And also what you can do as well is if you want to make it a bit shorter, you can just push the collar back and push the shank in, and you've just reduced the sort of length a little bit there. So first Klein tool screwdriver I've had, but I've seen plenty of videos and stuff. Fits very nice in the handle, you can get a good grip on it. You put your fingers in them little grooves there, so it's a nice ergonomic handle. There's your part number on there, 32308. And then you've also, if we pull the little cap up at the end, you've got some bit storage in there, so you've got a few different options of different bits in there, or obviously you can take them out and put the ones in you use the most, which is pretty cool. And then what I quite like about the Klein stuff is, which goes across the whole range, is they put on the, I'll spin it the right way around, they put on the top what it is. So like you say, there you go, you've got 8-in-1 stubby, and they do with plenty of different ratchet screwdrivers, normal screwdrivers, things like that, and you can always tell which one it is with that on the top, which I think is pretty handy. If you've got a bunch of different ones, you know which one's which. So there you go, guys, another little handy stubby screwdriver for the collection. I'm sure this one will come in handy, like I say, with that removable shaft there. So that's the 8-in-1 stubby. If you've got any questions on that, let me know down in the comments, and I will be sure to see if I can do my best in answering them for you. So there we go. That's the 8-in-1 stubby. I'll pop that up there. And then this is the famous flip socket set. So like I said before, you've got 6 sockets in one, and obviously you've only got 3 physical sockets. So you've got 7 and 8 on the top one, 10 and 12 in the middle, and then 13 and 14 in the bottom. So very famous this when it come out over in America. They did an imperial version first, which is obviously very popular over there because they still use that sort of measurement over there, whereas obviously we tend to be 9 out of 10 times it's a metric fixing or fastener over here. So everyone was after a metric one, so they finally did one. It's been out a bit, so finally buzzing to get my hands on it. So you've got this, obviously all your sockets on this, again impact rated shaft, and again you can pop it in your drill or impact driver or anything that you need to pop it into, and it'll be fine. So again, similar to the 8-in-1 stubby, you've got a cool little magnet on the end there. So if you're putting something in, a fastener or a fixing, and you don't want to drop it or lose it, you'll be fine, because it'll just sit in there, and the magnet will make sure it's in there nice and firm. So if we pop the 13 and 14 and your 10 and 12 just slip off the bottom there, come off nice and easy, and then you've got your 7 and 8 on the sort of end of the shank there. So you can either keep obviously all 3 sockets on there at once, or you can keep these somewhere else, and if you use the 7 and 8 more, or whichever one you use the most, you keep that one on the end, and you've got obviously all your shank there, and you've popped that in whatever you want to pop it in, and you're good to go. So we'll just pop that off the end there and show you the end. So you've got your little ball detent there, which obviously keeps your socket on there nice and firm. And then, like I say, your little magnet on the end there, if you can see that. So like I say, if we pop this socket back on, so that's it, just obviously on loose. Still on there, but you know, it's just on loose. And then if you pop it down, that's it secured on there over the little ball detent. So it's not that's not coming off, you know, you need to give it a good pull to get it off there. And then you just, if you look in the sockets, so that it's sort of like a pass-through sort of thing on all the sockets, you can just slide your shank in. So if you want to use a 13, you just pop that on there, pop it down, and your 13's good to go. And you can still use the little magnet feature in there. So, and then you just, when you're done, or if you just want to keep, like I said, quick look at the shaft before we put the sockets back on, pattern pending, there's your part number 32933M. And then like I say, if you just want to pop your sockets up, you can secure that one down there, or pop this one on the bottom, and then pop your one on the top. There you go, good to go. Or you know, bunch them up if you want. So you've got them both down there, and you know, that one at the top there. So like I said, very handy little tool to have, keeping your bag or your box or wherever you're keeping your stuff. So you've got, like I say, 6 sockets, sort of all in compressed down into 3 physical sockets. And then quickly before I end the video, if you make sure you've got plenty of space down there at the bottom, you can pull this collar back, and the flip socket set secures nicely in the handle of the stubby screwdriver. So if you want to use it in the stubby screwdriver handle, you can do, you know, if that's something that you need to do, which is pretty cool. Put that back in there like that. So there you go, guys, a couple of Klein tools that I've picked up. Let me know what you think down in the comments. If you've got them, use them, or used any other Klein tools, let me know. And if there's any that you want me to pick up and have a look at, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.